So Jonathan, let's get right into some coding. What do we got going on in today's episode for the Zignificant application?
We're going to make this thing user-friendly by adding some validation and sweet alerts.
Nice. I remember those sweet alerts. We used those before.
They're pretty sweet.
They are pretty sweet. Want to share your screen?
All right, let's get to coding.
Cool. All right, let's go.
All right. So where did we leave off last time? Let's go ahead and let's just kind of refresh the kids' minds and where we left off. So let's go ahead and launch the application and see where we're at.
Here we are.
Here we are. And let's go test out the register. And we're supposed to be able to register. So let's go ahead and add me, vic@gmail.com. And then do a super secret password called super secret.
Super secret.
And then if we go to the database, you're going to open up a new query window.
Oh.
And then just do a select star from user accounts. Oh, I didn't make it in there.
I don't think it went in.
Can we look at the debugging tools?
Yeah. All right.
So I believe we need to have a capital in there.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah. And a number. So super secret 1.
There we go.
All right. Let's go check out the database. Very
There we
cool.
go.
So that's working, but you saw that when there was an error, we didn't get any feedback. We didn't get any of that information. And that makes the user experience very annoying, you know? And so I think it's important that we clean up validation and we make it so that when the user does something wrong, they get some feedback and they can fix it, right? So let's start by adding some defensive code in the user controller in our create account method. Let's go ahead and add a try catch in there.
Okay.
Excellent. So this will we'll put some defensive code around our regular code, right? And then if something happens within our regular code, it'll catch in the exception and we'll send the message right back out to the client. And then the client can go ahead and do something with that error. We can go ahead and add that defensive code as well for the client. So if we go over to Visual Studio Code, we need to add additional validation for our data schema.
Here we go.
Yeah, so in your data schema, we need to match the same regex that is on the server, right? So the minimum is 8, but we also have to have the uppercase, lowercase, and a digit. So instead of having you see where it says on line 18 matches?
Okay.
We need to go and copy the regex from the C# code that we have.
Oh, okay.
Let's go look at I think it's under models. Yep, register model. And we need to copy, let's see. That piece we can copy from the caret, which is, so you see how you have from the caret all the way to the $sign. Copy that, and then let's go back to Visual Studio Code, and that's going to be pasted. We're going to put that inside your 2 forward slashes. So replace everything inside the 2 forward slashes. Yep. And I think that should fix that. Let's go ahead and save this and then go back to the register. Yeah, you could just type in anything in there. And then the password, we just want to start with just one letter, maybe. Yep, too short. Okay, let's go ahead and add another 7 characters. You could leave them as all lowercase. Mm-hmm. Password can only contain Latin letters.
What? I think that was one of our things. Contain.
It'll be in the in the Visual Studio Code.
Latin letters. So we should make it say something else.
Yeah. We need to make it say password must contain 1 upper, comma, 1 lower, comma, 1 digit character. Yep. Let's save that. And let's go back and test it out.
There we go.
All right. So let's go ahead and fix it. Let's see, add an upper, add a lower, and add a digit.
Oh.
We could just type in password 1 exclamation.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So that works. So that was the first thing that we needed to fix. In the Axios call, let's go and catch that error. And then, yep. So when we catch the error on line 16, all we're doing is just console logging it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's add an if statement. And let's check to see if the response gives us any errors. And then for now, Jonathan, hang on. For now, let's just go ahead and console log and say, wait, let's just do console log and then just say errors found inside of quotes. Let's go and let's go and break it. Let's go to Edge.
All right.
And go ahead and type in my email again, vic@gmail.com. And open up your console and go ahead and submit that. Nice.
Nice.
So did we get our message? Errors found?
Oh.
I don't see it there either, huh? Oh, we need to refresh. Go ahead and do that again. Let's go ahead and add a debugger to the after line 15. Go ahead and type in enter. And let's go ahead and type in debugger and then semicolon. Save this and then reload the page. All right. Go ahead and step over. Okay. What's on hover over error? Yeah, if you can give yourself a little bit more room. Hover over error. Okay. So what we're looking for is error.data. Oh, we don't have a data in there, do we? Can we go and expand response, error response? And there's data right there. And we're looking, go ahead and expand data. Oh, but there's no error. There's only a title. Okay. So you see on line 18 on the code above, instead of error response data errors, we're going to want to replace that with title. So let's go and code, go ahead and replace it with title. Yeah, okay. I'm going to save that, reload it, and try it again. Go ahead and let it play. And go back to your console. Errors found. Okay, so We know that whatever is going to happen, that we need to be friendly with the user, we can put the code in there now that we successfully have hit that line of code. All right. So let's go back into Visual Studio Code. In the case where the user enters a duplicate email address, we want to give them a friendly message. And the only way for us to be able to do that is to do that check at the server, right? Mm-hmm. So if we go, let's go ahead and stop the application and let's go into Visual Studio. So yeah, we're going to want to modify the user repository. And we're going to need to add a couple of methods, or at least one method. In the create account async method, one of the things that we need to do is we need to check to see if the email is already in the database. And if it is, we just tell them, hey, this email already exists. Because remember, all the emails in the database have to be unique. And so if we try to insert a duplicate in there, it's going to mess up our whole, username and password scheme, because all the emails have to be unique. We're going to add that check right after we create the password hash and the password salt, after line 23. Yeah. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to create a method called, we're going to call a method called user exist async, and we'll just pass in the model. So this particular method doesn't exist. We need to go create it, right? So let's go ahead and hover over it and view potential fixes and generate that method. And since it created it down below, let's go ahead and move that method up above the create account. So this particular method, we need to do a couple of things. We're going to call the context to go and check to see if this email that the user's trying to register under, it already exists, right? And we're going to assign that to a variable called result. You'll notice that you have under the any async, we're going to have to bring in a namespace. So go ahead and hover over that, show potential fixes, and bring in the entity framework. Nice. And then return the result. And let's go ahead and hover over that return, see what's going on with that, the show potential fixes. And yep, this is going to be fix the return type, so that you'll notice that it changed the signature of our method on line 22. It changed it to an async task Boolean, right? It means it's going to return a Boolean value, whether it'll be a true or false.
Yeah.
Let's I want to let Visual Studio fix our code here. On line 27, can you replace the semicolon? Just type it over again to remove it. And yeah, you see how it fixed the spacing there?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. So this is going to go and check. This is definitely different from using ADO.NET directly, where you would go and create a store procedure, create the connection, call the store procedure, get the result, all this stuff, right? This is just all using what they call Lambda expressions. So the context has all the connection information. We don't need to worry about it. It knows where to connect based on all the configuration that we've given it. We specified that we have user accounts, and we set up the objects, and we set up a property, and we said, hey, this user account property coincides to the user account object that we created. And that is a reflection of what's in SQL Server as far as our tables are concerned. And then we're going to go and check if any records come back, and do this in an asynchronous fashion. Any records with the emails matching, we're going to return as a true or false. So that allows us to assign that variable on line 34, email exists. So now what we could do is we can go ahead and start our if statement immediately after. Yep. And then in here, we're going to go ahead and throw a new exception. And that exception is called a DB update exception. But we're going to pass in our own message. And that message is going to be email already exists. Cool. So yeah, so we're not even going to try to update the database. We're just going to say, hey, if we were to run this, we would get a DB update exception. It's like, let's not even go there. Let's just go ahead and throw that before. Now we can create our own exception, but we're going to use one that already exists. And then we're going to say the email already exists so that the user sees it. All right. So let's go ahead and let's see, what else do we need to do this? Let's go ahead and watch it run. And we'll go ahead and, do we have our debugging statement in the client? We do. Okay, so we'll be able to see the error. Perfect. Let's go ahead and run it and let's look at that error. And go ahead and open up your tools. And then add me again, vic@gmail.com. All right. Let's hover over that error or expand that error down at the bottom where it says scope. Yep. And expand the response. And let's look at the data. Okay, you see how it says email already exists.
Nice.
So that message that we included in the exception, it actually bubbles it up all the way up to the UI so that we can display that message to the user.
Cool.
Kind of cool. All right. Let's continue. Let's go ahead and start our coding our suite alerts. So go and open up your console. I think it's Control tilde. And then, oh, it's already a bash. I like it. Add suite alerts to our arsenal of tools so that we can use it.
Cool.
And then, yeah, when we have, when we're successful or when we're failing, we need to let the user know. So let's go back into our code and let's add, we can go ahead and minimize this terminal or shrink it down a little bit. Yeah. Let's go ahead and add a couple of namespaces. So we need to import a couple of things. We need to import the use history from the React DOM.
All right.
And then we also need to import the suite alerts from suite alerts 2. I think they call it, I don't know why they call it SWAL. I think it's a lowercase s.
Forgot a T too.
And you forgot a T. Cool. And then after the register, the function register. So let's go back up to the top. After line 8, we need to include the use history because what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna route the user back to the home page for now. Later on, we'll route them to the login page, but for now, we'll just route them back to the home page. In the then of the Axios post, we're gonna want to go ahead and put a suite alert message. So we're going to fire one off and we'll just indicate that the icon is success, the title is congratulations, the text, your account has been created. We'll set a 5-second timer and we'll put a progress bar. And then when it's done, we just go ahead and push them back out to the home page.
Cool. There we go.
So let's talk about what we got here, Jonathan, because that's a lot of code.
Yeah.
So line 14, we're going to call Axios. And on line 15, we're going to specify that we're going to post some data. And we indicate the address that we're going to be using, which happens to be API user. And then we pass it in the fields. That gets translated inside of C# as one of our objects that we can just go ahead and use natively and send the data over the database. When it saves it into the database successfully, we get the promise back saying, hey, this promise has been fulfilled, which is the then command on line 16. And we get that response, right? And with that response, we can just go ahead and say, we call sweet alerts. In this case, they're called, we shorten it to SWAL, sweet alerts. And we fire off a message and we say, hey, give us an icon that is success. Give us the title that says congratulations. Specify in the text that the account has been created. We'll put a timer in milliseconds. So 5,000 milliseconds happens to be 5 seconds. And then we'll also specify a progress bar to show the users like, hey, we're going to shut this message down in 5, 4, 3, 2. And then once it does shut down, then it fires off another promise. And it says the promise of displaying this message for 5 seconds has been fulfilled. Now, what do you want to do? And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and push the user to the homepage. But we also have to deal with the case where it doesn't successfully save the user data, right? Mm-hmm. So in the error, what we want to do is we want to put that sweet alert message as well. The only difference that this time is going to be an error, a sorry, and the title of the error.
All right.
And we can go ahead and get rid of the debugger on line 29. And we can go ahead and leave the console logs in there. They're not going to hurt anything. Let's go ahead and save this and give it a shot. Let's go break the application.
All right. So
let's do a successful one too. Let's do vic1@gmail.com.
Hey, cool.
Look at the bar at the bottom.
Bar is going.
And it takes us back to the homepage.
Wow. That was cool.
So now, I mean, you can see how the story progresses, right? At this point, we don't have to send them to the homepage. We can redirect them to the login page. Mm-hmm. You know, let's go back into the register and register that same user, vic1@gmail.
Oh, email already exists.
So now we change it to vic2.
There we go.
And you can wait for it, or you can hit OK, and it's still going to do the same thing. What else do we got going on here? So we got a couple of things that we need to do. And a lot of it has to do with Azure. Before we check in this code, we need a database in Azure, because your database only exists locally on your machine. So if we were to go and check this code in, go and test it, it says, hey, I got nothing. It's like, I got no database. Okay. So let's fire up Azure and let's go create a database. So let's go and create the database for the application. So let's go into SQL databases and create a SQL database. And this is on your Azure subscription. And let's go ahead and the resource group, let's go ahead and select the proper resource group. And then the database name, let's give it a good database name, Jonathan. All right. And then the server name, let's go ahead and create a new one. And let's call it Zignificant dash Azure dash DB dash server. And then let's go ahead and select West US. Excellent. And we're going to use the SQL authentication. And I sent you the username and password that we should probably use. With the magic of editing, we've blurred out the username and password. All right, hit OK. And let's go and configure the database. And on the dropdown, let's go ahead and go down to basic, less demanding workloads. Perfect. I'm going to apply that. And then local redundant backup storage is going to be perfectly fine. And then instead of review and create, select next networking. And we're going to want public access point. And we want our allow Azure services and resources to access the server and add the current IP address. Perfect. And that's fine. TLS 1.2. Let's go to security. We don't want to start any free trial. We don't want to start the leisure. Scroll down a little bit. Identity, we don't care. Service principal preview, we don't care. Additional settings. We don't care about backups right now. And I think that'll be good. Go ahead and go to the tags. And we don't need anything here. Review and create. So cost is $5 a month for databases. So let's go ahead and create this.
Create.
We'll give it a moment to create it. And through the magic of video editing, we'll skip over to the end of this. All right, let's go to the resource and let's go grab the connection string. Connection strings over to your right.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and then copy that puppy right there. And yeah, let's go and fire up Visual Studio. And in here, yeah, go ahead and paste that inside the quotes. And with the magic of video editing, we'll blur this part out. Let's go to the go ahead and save this. And let's go over to the app settings debug or development. And let's go put your local host back into here. Oh, I think on this one, what you can do is right click on it, right click on the file itself. Over on the right hand side. And then go to Git and go to view history. And right click on the second one, fully working, and then view commit details. And go look for over on the, yeah, go back to that tab. Yeah, right here, look for the JSON app settings, that one right there, double click on it. And you should be able just to copy lines 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. And go ahead and close this window or close this tab. And close this tab. And close this tab. Yep. And then paste that in there. Cool. Save this.
Hey.
All right. Let's go over to the Git changes and push these changes up to Azure. Hopefully working database. And then let's go over to DevOps. So if you just type in dev, that there, enter. For some reason or other, you have that login at the end and it screws things up. But yeah, go ahead and click in there. Let's go over to the pipelines and follow the yellow brick road. So every time we check something in, even if it's just app settings, it's going to run through the pipeline. It's going to deploy everything. And through the magic of video editing, we'll take you to the final result.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, 5 minutes to build. That's crazy.
Nice.
All right. So we took 5 minutes and 4 seconds. Now we're ready to go check out the release. And follow the yellow brick road again. Once again, with the magic of video editing, we'll fast forward to the successful deployment. Excellent. Let's go over to our portal. And yeah, we'll go home and go to the Zignificant App service, the third one. And let's click on that magical link and see what comes up. Well, it's taking a little bit longer than usual, which is a good sign.
Good sign. Hey.
Hey, there it is. Let's go register. So we should have a clean database.
All right.
Go ahead and register Vic at Gmail or John. Yeah, John, that's fine. Who is John? Who knows?
Oops.
Oops. Well, we know our validation's working.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Very cool. Let's go do a quick check. Jonathan, open up Visual Studio. I'm sorry, open up SQL Server. And we'll use the connection information to connect here. So we'll need to go and grab that information from, you know where to grab it from?
Hold on.
You can grab it from, you can put
server name.
Yeah, so you can grab it from Visual Studio. Go back to Visual Studio and go to the app settings. Yeah, and then scroll over to the left and grab the server name. So you're going to grab everything from TCP all the way to 1433. Yep. Paste that puppy in there. And then go grab the login. And we're sorry that we had to blur this out, guys, but for security reasons, we're trying to give you as much as possible, but still keep our database secured. And then just remember that. And let's go expand databases. And there's our Zignificant App DB and expand our tables. And then let's go check out, right click on our user accounts and select the top 1000, even though we only have one in there. And
There
there's
it
our
is.
password hash and our password salt. Everything's there. Kind of cool, huh?
Oh, it's working.
It's working. Well, I think this is an open invitation, guys. Go and register on our Zignificant website. It's for fun. Don't take it serious. Don't put some, like your bank information in there. We don't want your bank information or any important. It doesn't even have to be a real email address. Just go and register. Make it fun. Yeah, as we move forward, we'll make it a little bit more secure. For now, this is kind of where it's at. For many of you noticed, Gerard wasn't with us for this segment of the program. At the time of the recording, it was right around his birthday time, and he was just getting invited to go do all kind of good stuff. So he went off to go do a little bit of celebration. We want to wish him happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And we missed you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.